Good morning, everyone, and some of you are good evening. This is our Sunday share. Every Sunday, Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. I will introduce one of the Dr. Tan's Balance Method practitioners. They are all seasoned, and you have the first-hand chances to hear how they practice, how they flourish with the balance method. And all these people, they always come into Dr. Tan's seminars over and over, and they always share their experience with us. So this time, I'd like to introduce to you Jim Westmoreland, and he's from Georgia, Griffin, Georgia, but now he is reside in Denver, North Carolina. I paused it because I want to make sure people know it's North Carolina, not Colorado. Denver, North Carolina.
Right.
Yes. So let's welcome Jim to come and join us for today's Sunday share for his knowledge and experience.
Thanks, Eileen. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. We chat a little bit already. It's always wonderful to chat with you. Did you have your coffee ready? We're gonna have a long conversation today.
Well, maybe let me get just a hair more.
I shouldn't say anything about it, but anyway. Well, since he's getting his coffee, let me introduce you who is Jim Westmoreland. Jim has been a practitioner and a teacher of the Asian healing and martial art for more than 4 decades. As a direct disciple for Dr. Chao Wang, he was classically trained in the Wang's family system until the year 2000. That time he met Dr. Richard Tefu Tan. Now, after years of study with Dr. Richard Tefu Tan, he exclusively treats patients with balance method, and he is committed to share and expanding the wisdom and knowledge obtained from his masters. He also believes that the body itself is imbued with a deep and abiding innate wisdom which can be activated through the process of the acupuncture in Chinese medicine to restore the health and bring balance to all. And currently he already practiced maybe 30, 40, 50 years. I'm not sure, Jim, maybe you can tell us.
Well, this is my 51st year in practice.
Wow.
That just means I'm old, but I started in 1970. So that's when I began my training and practice of Asian medicine,
yes.
Eastern medicine. And it's been a long and eventful pathway, and I just love it. It gets better and better each and every day.
Right. So other than acupuncture, do you do any martial art? Tell us what kind of martial art, Qigong or something like that. Please let us know a little bit.
I've practiced Guo Pai. It's a Junfa Kung Fu system. Tai Chi Chuan, Kali Silat, those are my main bases. Kali Silat, that's all weapons mainly weapons. There's some empty hand arts, but sticks, swords, knives, bullwhips, doesn't matter, just, you know, beat them to death with a rock, that kind of thing. It's all about fire. And it's a fire element. It's all fire in that one. Of course, Tai Chi is very balanced. And Guo Pai was a family system from Dr. Wong that it's a balance, a mix between hard style and soft styles. And I still practice and teach, though I'm not currently teaching Tai Chi or anything at the moment because everybody's got to stay far away from each other.
Hey, you can bring 6 feet far away to practice your Tai Chi, right?
Right, but it's hard to do push hands when they're over there.
That's right. That's right. You're correct. Well, then you have to practice a Wing Chun. Then you can hit the woodman.
Yeah, you can
Wood
do that.
stick man.
Sure, things like that. So,
Yes.
yeah, I got into martial arts. I've been in martial arts since 1963. Again, I'm old. But it's just wonderful. It fits with what we do in Chinese medicine because it's all under the same theoretical basis. Everything is from the same place.
Yes. So that's why I always promoting the 山医命相谱, the self-cultivation medicine,
right.
Astrology, the Chinese astrology, the 八字, and then face reading and prediction with the I Ching. They're all coming from the same basis as you mentioned. So
right.
yeah, absolutely.
We're all doing the same thing.
Yes, we already stuck with the medicine. We better start learning everything else.
Right, right. That's
and you are the pioneer here, so it's so exciting to see you already practice all of them and see all the results in your life, and you're healthy and happy and lively, energetic. So to all of you who is listening to this or watching, please start doing your self-cultivation, learning some Gong Fu, Qi Gong, Tai Chi Chuan, practice something in the morning, and consistently. You don't have to practice an hour, 20 minutes to 30 minutes will do. You can start with 10 minutes. So yes, please, if you have any question, you can ask Jim. I get you in trouble, yay.
Pass the buck, right?
Yes. So let's talk about Dr. Richard Tefutan, our boss, our master. So how did you, at the year 2000, where did you find Dr. Tan?
Well, I started seeing advertisements for him. He used to put a full-page advertisement on the back page of Acupuncture Today, the
correct
magazine. And I started seeing those ads, I think it was around 99, 98, something like that. And one of the ads indicated he'd be teaching a class in Oregon in 2000. And so I went to Oregon because I have relatives there. You know, I've been in Eastern medicine for a long time. And in the 70s, finding someone to train with or under was rather difficult. There weren't any really CEU workshops or anything like that. Though I did find, and if you found one, they were pretty dry and staid, just theory read from books a lot. But I did find someone in 1979. I went to a seminar at Emory University that was taught by Dr. Michael O. Smith. And it was a seminar on using acupuncture, specifically auricular acupuncture, in drug addiction treatment. Some of the people watching may remember Dr. Smith. He was the head of the Lincoln Detox Center in New York at that time. He was an MD at the time, and he's the man who invented the NADA protocol, much years after the seminar I attended with him. But I found that one to be very interesting. Then in the 80s, again, there were some people teaching, but most of it was pretty dry and just, you know, sometimes people would just get up and read from their notes, and it was really kind of boring. And, you know, I was kind of expecting the same thing in 2000. There were some good teachers came around in the 90s, and you learned some things, and it was fun. But I went to Dr. Tan's seminar in Oregon, and it just blew me away. I just loved it. Number one, Dr. Tan was a rebel. You know that.
Yes.
He didn't go along with the status quo. And, you know, I came up in 1970 in acupuncture. Nixon didn't go to China till 72. There weren't any schools. I was pretty much outside the status quo from the beginning. People would ask me what I do, and I'd tell them and explain, and you poke needles into people? I wouldn't let you do that to me. No one knew what it was, what Eastern medicine was, or not very few Americans had heard of acupuncture, knew anything about Eastern medicine. Not many of them knew much about martial arts. So I was kind of outside the status quo too, and we connected immediately. And as you know, outside of the student-apprentice relationship that we had, I was very honored that Dr. Tan accepted me as his friend and confidant. That's one of the greatest honors in my life. And he was just a great person. I loved his rebellious spirit. Of course, the school hated him at that time. They'd tell people, don't go see him. He's making stuff up. And of course he wasn't. He was teaching the essence of Eastern medicine. I never forget, like one of the first seminars, you know, he's saying, okay, somebody comes to see you and they have ankle pain on the lateral side of their ankle. What do you do? And somebody pikes up and says, take the pulse. And he's like, why the hell you take the pulse? Pulse is for diagnosis. He told you the diagnosis. Hurts right there. And he was just really animated, vibrant, and alive. And he made the medicine vibrant and alive and exciting. And that's what attracted me the most. I mean, it was really exciting to train and learn from him. And your energy came up. It was just wonderful. Great man with tremendous knowledge.
And a lot of jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, people frequently ask me, you know, why do you keep coming back to the same seminar? And that's kind of it's a simple question, but it has a rather complex answer. And so I'd usually just say, well, I come back for the jokes, because there's always a different one, you know. And, you know, that's just being a wiseacre. I'd respond that way. But
yes.
So that's how I got started with him and how I met him, and things progressed from there. And I followed him all over, of course.
Yes, so you become the #1 fan, you and John Meany, at the moment that you guys are following him every seminars until
Right.
that I start working with Dr. Tan. I see you guys everywhere that I went with Dr. Tan. So I know you before I even an acupuncturist.
Right, I remember the first time we met, you were sitting behind a table selling needles and books and things at one of his seminars. And one of my favorite jokes is one involving you. One of the favorite stories from him was about when he was talking about imaging the genitals. That story that...
It wasn't me, okay?
Yes, it was.
It wasn't me.
Yes, it was.
Tina. Remember, it's Tina. It wasn't me.
Oh, it was you.
No. Oh my God, my name is ruined.
You want me to tell that story?
No. They have to pay per view, okay? They cannot.
Okay.
My name is ruined, okay? If they don't pay something, then I was like, no, they have to come to the seminar.
Okay. All right.
Well, that will be the seminar you're going to teach in module 2, correct?
Right.
That will be the story, the joke you're going to tell at module 2.
Story if they're interested.
Oh, well, they are very interested now.
Okay.
So everyone, if you're wanting to listen to that joke, which that's the only reason why Jim keep on coming back to see Dr. Tan, is for the joke. So now he's going to be the storyteller. So his class on the module 2 It will be on the day of the end of the October. Let me give you the time of the October seminar that we will have is module 2. It will be global balance plus the meridian conversion. So the class is called Dr. Tan's Point Prescription, module 2. It will be on October the 30th to November 1st. October the 30th to November 1st. It will be at the Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in Europe, that will be a good time for you. Okay, good time for you. So that will be at the 6 a.m.? That will be my time, Pacific Standard Time. But for Eastern Time is 9 to 5. 9 to 5. So if you are interested, please click online, and we have it on sale for module 1, 2, 3. Please, it's limited offer. Sorry, I have to do a little commercial so everybody will be able to click and register. So Sean gonna post it online, and you guys are gonna get the information. Thank you, thank you. So now you're gonna tell the story, that one, at module 2 in North Carolina seminar in October the 30th to November 1st. Great.
Yes, I'll tell the story.
It wasn't me. It's Tina.
My memory must be faulty.
It's Tina. Great. So now I know that you've been practice the balance method since 2000.
Yes.
And I understand that you only practice balance method.
That's correct.
And so every day, how many patients you treat? Tell us about your clinic. Tell about like some of the cases that you enjoy to treat, and give us some like case study, some that you really enjoy.
Well, I'd like to answer a question you kind of brought up a little bit before we get into that. It's, you know, you talked about seeing me over and over at the same seminars.
Right.
Well, there's a reason for that. And I said, you know, I kind of cracked that as I just come for the jokes. But the reason I do that is it's quick, and I'm usually asked that question by someone who's at a seminar when we're on a break.
Yes.
But the actual reason that I continue to repeat the seminars, I'm a little slow. No, that's not it.
No, you're there because the happy hour.
That's another reason. There's so many reasons and perks, but it actually is about the perspective that I have. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have slightly different perspectives on what we're doing, but the perspective that I have comes from what I've learned about the balance method. And everything we're doing comes from a unified field theory of Eastern thought. Western science, physicists are desperately trying to develop a unified field theory, a single theory that explains all the phenomena in the universe. Well, we have one that's not just theoretical, but practical, and been in use for centuries. And once you understand that, it's incredibly exciting. Your energy comes up, and you can look at, through the perspective of the unified field theory, any treatment that actually works and understand why it works. There aren't any empirical points. It's nothing like that. Everything is understandable through the lens of this unified field theory. And that's what Dr. Tan and what you and all of us are teaching, that there's this unified field theory that is the theoretical basis behind what we're doing. And it applies to everything in life, everything with your patients, everything with yourself. When you understand that, you can look at yourself and other people and understand what the core essence of their personality is, why they have that personality, what issues will be coming along in their life, and how you can bring balance to them so that they can live a more harmonious, wonderful life, and help them in all different aspects of their life. It's wonderful and it's incredibly exciting. I got to stand up. My energy gets up just talking about it. This is a wonderful, tremendous medicine that we have. And that doesn't seem to get across in a lot of the theoretical teachings in schools. Now, of course, the schools are great and they're teaching you a theoretical base that you can use to pass the exam. We all have to pass the exams, right? But when you actually get into practice, you need something more than just this, one theory or another. And under the unified field theory we have, it doesn't matter if you're a 5-element practitioner, 8 principles, if you're using Bagua methods, if you're using any method of acupuncture you're using, all of that's under the singular umbrella. And somehow in the translations through the schools and things, I think a good bit of that gets lost. I think it's important that people understand that. I go to the seminars over and over and over again. We get the unified field theory, we get the theory right off the bat. You don't have to keep coming back to learn the theory, but don't forget, Eastern medicine is both a science and an art. Now, the theory we have is the science and theory part, but it is also an art, and any art requires skill. In Tai Chi, there's an old saying, Tai Chi Chuan can be learned, but it can never be taught. And they're talking about the skill development. We can show you techniques. We can show you methods to move. That's what the 6 systems, the unified field theory all are. They are methods to understand what you're doing while you develop a skill. The way you develop skill is constant practice and repetition, but also you can develop skill through a process similar to osmosis.
Yes.
If you are continually around someone who has that skill and you observe them, talk with them, work with them, you pick up some of their skill, like the Qigong masters who share their Qi with their students, and they give a little piece of their energy to them. You get that osmotically. That's why painters train with master painters. We all know the techniques, we all know the methods, but the skill behind it is something that takes time, effort, and exposure to others. And there are a lot of us in Balance Method who have very highly developed skills. I love the old parables. There's an old Eastern parable about a wood carver and his apprentice. And the wood carver's sitting and he's taught the apprentice how to make the carving strokes, which kinds of things he's doing. And the apprentice is doing the best he can, and he carves out some pretty decent looking pieces. But the old master's pieces, when he carves the same piece, they both carve a horse. The student is imitating what the old master's doing, but the old master's horse looks alive. It's almost glowing. And the student, as he's practicing and carving side by side with the master day after day, he watches and he can't quite get everything right. And then he goes home and he spends hours sharpening his knives because they've been dulled by what he's doing. One day he notices that the old wood carver just rolls his knives up at the end of the day and goes to dinner and has tea with his friends, goes to sleep, comes back. And he thought that was a little curious, and he asked the old master if he could see one of his knives. And the guy says, sure, and hands him a knife, and it's sharp as a razor. And the young guy says, well, why don't you ever have to sharpen your knives? I spend hours every night. And the old fellow says, feel for the spaces in the grain in the wood. Your blade never meets resistance and never becomes dull.
Wow.
And then he took that and started sitting next to the old master, watching what he was doing and feeling for the spaces. Eventually he got it. And then his pieces started looking alive, and he didn't have to spend all his time sharpening knots. That's what we're doing. We're sharing, and it's a give-take relationship between all of us, sharing our skill as well as our knowledge. And that takes repetition. So anybody interested in balance method, I advise you take the seminars over and over and over again. Not just for the knowledge, you'll get different nuances in the theory, but you'll develop your skills and come up.
I can feel your energy from here. Thank you. This is really a very, very touching, thank you so much. I cannot share as good as you do with the feeling.
Well, thanks. I get excited about this. I can't help it.
And I believe that's a part of the reason why I follow Dr. Tan, that I can feel it by osmosis, like what you were saying. You watch him, and watching enough, then you'll be able to learn it the way that it will work. So
right.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. At the end of the seminar days, we invite people up so that they can see how we treat, the results we get right there. And they can start, if you observe and you practice with them, you can pick up a little of the skill. And it's both science and art, and we need both parts.
Yes.
That's my perspective, my thought.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's such a wonderful delivery, because for me, it's so hard. I can't explain it. I just know if you want to be good, you need to be hanging out with the people who's doing great in that field.
That's it.
Have them right next to you, enjoying their energy. Just watch them. You can learn so much by just watching them.
Right. Well,
and thank you for.
We say the same things because we're all under that theory.
Right.
Field. Okay.
Right. This is really great. I would have to watch this interview over and over again, so I'll be able to explain to people in a better way. And I'm gonna make a really nice clip for your saying right that it's just totally makes sense in the word that you can express. Thank you so much. And then I also know that you also come to my seminar. That makes me and support. I thought you were just supporting the balance method, but you are really wanting to learn is the art, because everybody come with a little something different. Right. I'm sure I know something, and then I'm sure that you know that I know something, that I know that you know something. So every time we hang out, that we always can share all this beautiful information with each other. Yeah,
my ulterior motive is I keep coming to your seminars because I'm trying to steal your skill.
Anytime, no problem.
Well,
and also, Jim,
it's kind of sad too, because when you're looking at a screen in a little black box and the pixels on the screen, the theory, we can explain all that, but with this distancing and all like that, not having the personal connections in the classroom, I'm really looking forward to all that ending so we can get together as people and share and get that exchange that's so important in our medicine and our art. I'm looking forward to that. That's me personally.
And yeah. I'm so looking forward for your seminar for the module 2. Just by you to sharing that, I'm already so excited already. I can't wait to come to your class on the end of October.
Okay, well, thanks. I'll look forward to seeing you there.
So let me ask a question. Do you have any case study that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I've got one this is from a case I saw years ago, but I think it's important, and it's a treatment that Dr. Tan taught in one of the seminars that I attended. I believe it was in Orlando, Florida, if I remember correctly.
Was that the moonshine trip?
Well, that was one of them. That was a fun trip. But here, I drew it out. Fellow came in to see me, He was referred by someone in his church, and he had shoulder pain. It was a dull ache. You know, I asked the usual questions. Well, where does it hurt? Put one finger on where it hurts. And it was everywhere. He couldn't put a finger there at all. It hurt in his whole shoulder. So I drew out the matrix. And if you can see this.
Yes.
There's 6 channels that run through the shoulder. They're at the top. And
Yes.
then with the matrix, you'll see that between the liver and the kidney, all 6 of the channels are balanced.
Yes.
And using the imagery, here's the shoulder, I chose liver 8, acupuncture 1, 2, 3. I thought I'll put in a needle in liver 8 and then go on from there. Now this fellow, when he came in, it ached all here and it was stuck. He couldn't lift his arm above the shoulder height. He couldn't lift it any higher than right here. Okay, so I put in the 1 needle in liver 8 and asked him to move his arm and tell me where it hurt now. And he went,
Oh, that's good.
and his jaw dropped and his eyes got big as saucers, and he moved it around and I said, where does it hurt now? And he couldn't find any pain anywhere with 1 needle. Power of the balance method. And I saw him a few more times for his shoulder. By the way, when he came to see me, he was already scheduled with an orthopedist for shoulder surgery. He saw me for about 3 weeks, canceled the surgery. I thought it was interesting. The surgeon was someone he knew personally. And he saw the surgeon at dinner, and the surgeon asked him, well, why did you cancel the surgery? And he told him, and the surgeon said, well, it would have gotten better anyway. And my friend who I'd treated turned to the surgeon and said, well, if it was going to get better anyway, why'd you schedule me for surgery? I thought that was great.
That's a good one.
But there was a side effect to this treatment. The fellow with the shoulder pain was a CEO of a large corporation, and he had hundreds of employees. And the side effect was that it's been many years since I saw him, and he is still referring people to see me. I saw him about 8 years after that first treatment at an event. We were both at this big gathering, and he's across the room, and I hear this, hey, Jim. And I turned, and it's him, and he's going, hey, still good. So that's one of my favorite stories from a treatment Dr. Tan taught us there. So
he must refer you the whole company. You must be busy.
If anybody, well, you know, the results of the balance method are so wonderful. I don't advertise, Eileen. I mean, I put some business cards at the desk and that's it. I hadn't run an ad anywhere, any kind, in many years. Because you get a result like that with a patient, they go tell their friends, neighbors, relatives, everybody, and the word spreads and your practice fills up. Just like Dr. Tan used to tell us, go treat them in the bars. Yeah. They'll tell everybody, and it's true. You get the result, people talk about it.
That's right.
So.
Excellent. I like to show everyone one of your photos at the Dr. Tan's birthday party.
Okay.
That was you presenting your gift to Dr. Tan's 60 years old birthday.
Yes.
And I'm going to have Sean share the screen. And then I want people to see what gift that he gave it to Dr. Tan. Everyone, did you guys see it? Excellent photo of you. You can see Jim is the all black tuxedo, so handsome. He's receiving his Bazi consultant certification and also the gold level practitioner. So he achieved both major milestone, and also that you can see the gift that Dr. Tan received, yeah, is a handgun. I have no idea what that is, but what size, what's the model, I have no idea. And you can see me behind it as the MC. That's why I like to show the photo, because I'm in there.
Well, Dr. Tan loved shooting, and that, of course, is one of my hobbies. And so that's a 45 ACP, and he really enjoyed those types of sports. So.
Yes, I remember that we went shooting in Georgia in your backyard. That's how big your backyard is.
Well, yeah, it's, I have a 300-yard shooting range there. And in North Carolina, I only have a 100-yard range, but it's good enough.
Yeah, I was trying to load up the photo that I was holding the pistol handgun shotguns.
Right. Right.
I was shooting, and everybody ran so far away because none of them want to be in the way. So, and then
they all got behind you.
So that was really fun to have Jim in my life, and I want to share with everyone. Not only just practice the balance method as a skill, it's an art, and you have all this friend, the family of the balance method. So yeah. I like to introduce Jim to every one of you. Please be friend with him, to having as your teacher, to having around you, because he can give you so much. And please learn by osmosis. And Jim, there anything you want to share with everyone, because it's almost time's up for everyone for the interview?
Well, just keep learning, keep continuing to attend the seminars, improve your skill and your understanding of the theories behind what we're doing. We're all doing the same thing. I mean, it's everything in Eastern thought. I don't care if it's architecture, dance, martial arts, medicine, it's all under the same unified field theory. The richness of the Asian cultures and wisdom is just, it's tremendous. And it's all explainable under a single concept. It's just wonderful. I can't, again, I'm just always excited about it. Yeah, it's wonderful. You end your day, you go see a whole day's full of patients. And at the end of the day, you feel better than you did when you got up in the morning. You're full of more energy. It's just continuous in producing more and more joy, as well as it's joy and science and art all together, and it's good for your heart.
And then I also, you know this, that Chinese culture and then the Chinese medicine, and then this all this big umbrella. It's a continual learning, because when we are getting older and older, that you want to be more, you want more of this spiritual, emotional, and scientific background with all this information. Because when I look at the Western culture in the background, they have Plato, they have all that. But in Chinese, that you live in it, you live in this idea.
Right. Western thought is linear. Like you go to school, when you get a degree, you stop. What? There's no end to our arts and our science in Eastern thought. There's just no end to it. And that's exciting. You have more to learn, no matter how long you've been learning, no matter how long you've been practicing, there's always more and greater understanding. One of my old teachers, someone asked him, well, how long will it take me to understand all of this? And he said, your whole lifetime. And probably much longer. Because nobody gets it in one lifetime.
Yeah, so as you know that I also shifting the Academy of Acupuncture, the goal a little bit different now. Of course, we primarily as acupuncture and balance method. And you notice that I do also emphasize on the Bazi and emphasize on the I Ching prediction. And you also know that I've been working on the classes for the feng shui reading and face reading, so we can get all this together, because this is like a whole thing. That's
Yes.
why I think the older that I am, the more I feel like this has to be all together combined. That's why I shift the gear just a little bit, be able to add in some of this, so people will be able to have a avenue, a place who can learn this in the Western world.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, because it takes me to be all this 1 year to start thinking.
Right. Well, you've been thinking a long time.
Thank you so much to have you here, Jim. And I'm looking forward to see you at the module 2 in October, end of October. Any one of you are interested, please go on to the website, take a look. And I love you so much. And I will see you soon, and everybody too. Love you guys. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you
Bye,
so
guys.
much. Thank you. Thank you.